What's happening? Hopefully whatever was happening yesterday with my microphone is not happening now. And I better turn down the station so I don't get hit with a music copyright strike or whatever. Do you love how much my chair squeaks now? It's funny, like about every month or so, another piece falls off of this chair just randomly. And I'm like, oh, okay. Hi, Chew. How have you been? What's going on, man? Oh, you know what's funny is it tells me that nobody's watching, but clearly I can see you. You are there. So weird. I have no idea who's here and who's not, or when they tap in or when they don't. I can only get any interaction like from comments. So yeah, comment so I know you're here at least. So this weekend, baby Huey and I went to the 49er game and we met Jerry Rice. And it was super cool. And I was like crazy excited about it. Like I was a little bit like nervous. Hey, Robert. And I was like, what are we going to do, dude? I mean, like you don't want to bother the guy because Jerry Rice living his best life every day. He is the GOAT and he knows it. And it's amazing. Oh, thanks, Dan. I'll be honest. I am exhausted and this is yesterday's hair. So thanks. But it's great because he's like on the field. He wears this like diamond encrusted medallion that says GOAT on it. He's just dancing and bopping and hanging with friends and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to interrupt Jerry Rice, but also, I mean, we are the flagship station, the FM flagship station. Hey, Hobbs. What's up, Hobson? Appreciate it. Usually PJ outs you. Bryn, hey, how you doing? You back in Texas? I mean, in Texas still? Because I saw something on the internet that you came out here for a show or something. And so baby Huey and I are like, we have to do this, right? Like I said, we are the FM flagship station for the San Francisco 49ers. And we are basically there on the field to get social media. And of that, I mean, a picture with Jerry Rice sounds like it has to happen, right? And it did. So he could barely hear us. It was so loud on the field. And bless baby Huey for walking up and being like, hey, Jerry, we're with 107.7 The Bone. We're the flagship station. We broadcast all the Giants game or the Niner games. And could we get a picture with you for our social media? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then we did. And I was like, but the reason I bring it up is that, what do you mean, Robert? Nobody cares what I'm talking about. You just want to look at me? What the? No, you don't. Yeah, that's weird. Hey, John. What part of Indy? I have family in Carmel and Logansport. Are you like North Indiana or South India or like Bloomington? Because I got nobody in Bloomington, but I got people in the up north towards Indy. Carmel, shut up. Do you know any Millers? All the Millers out there and all the Kratzers. All the Millers and Kratzers in the Indy area are mine. Not all the Millers, but like a lot of the Millers and pretty much all the Kratzers. So if you run into somebody out there with that last name, just be like, did you know you're related to Nikki Blakk? Some of them may not know because they have a family reunion every year. I think it's the third weekend in September. And I've been like twice ever. Once when I was 4 and once when I was like 26. But I have been there. Hey, Justine. Hey, Justin. Philip, what's up? No, I'm not using a mic. I'm using the exact same thing I did yesterday because that would have required some sort of foresight and planning. And I got to be honest, I thought I'd be feeling better today, but no. I was dragging ass today. Every day though, I'm just like, oh, thanks, Brian. Every day I'm like hoping and hoping and hoping that this is just like some kind of like apnea sleep disorder thing that I can get sorted in January once we flip over. Because here's the thing, right? If I start getting doctor's appointments now with diagnostic tests, none of it's going to be covered and it's all going to have to be out of pocket. And then it's all going to apply towards a deductible that's going to change over in January. So, I just got to suck it up and get through the end of the year. And then in January, I can start like making appointments and at least it'll all apply towards the 2025 deductible. Can I play some AC/DC? Sure. Did you have sleep apnea? Hi, Davey. Yeah, Dan, I'm hearing a lot from a lot more people that that it's getting increasingly common and age is a big factor. And this is starting to make sense because I just assumed it was like perimenopause, not to scare the shit out of everybody who's like not a woman. But I thought that's just what it was. But now I'm starting to notice there's like a hereditary thing with like a like my mom is just choking on shit all the time. So I'm like, Mom, we need to get you into a doctor and find out what this is. And now I'm wondering if it's like a thing that's like, choking me out in my sleep. Hey, Sherry. And because I thought it was like hormones, pandemic, weight gain, all the business, right? But I lost the weight. I'm back at my pre-pandemic weight. And so if I was having a sleep apnea that was weight based, that I shouldn't be still having it, right? So anyway, I think I might need to, just slice something off in my throat, which I'm more than willing to do to get a fucking full night's sleep. And in the meantime, I'm looking at the symptoms of sleep apnea, right? And they all match perfectly, with everything that I'm going through. And yeah. So anyhow, met Jerry Rice, which reminded me of this amazing Jerry Rice story that I have. You know what, Sherry? My doctor is very anti-Mucinex. She says it's too dehydrating. And that's another thing. That was one of the symptoms that hit me with sleep apnea that was not part of the other potential things is that you're thirsty all the time. Because I guess, you're like choking out. And when you're choking out, you like open your mouth to breathe. And so you're always like mouth breathing in your sleep instead of nose breathing, I guess, which gives you like dryness. So I literally wake up thirsty all night long. So that's what kind of was a trigger there. Does anybody want to hear my Jerry Rice story? Thanks, Dr. Hobson. I have one. Appreciate the advice. Yeah, Nick, lots of people seem to, and it seems to have multiple causes. And hey, Eddie. Why, yes, I am wearing red. Thank you for noticing. Thanks, Nicholas. I appreciate that. Right, Sherry? Like, fuck talking about that Jerry Rice thing. Let's talk about being old. Robert, you're going to mute me and listen to the music, but you'll watch me. That's okay. Whatever floats your boat, man. So Jerry Rice, right? A long time ago, in the early aughts, somebody can probably Google the date. The day Jerry Rice became a Raider, I was working at KMBR, and we were supposed to. You want to go home 600 miles? Oh, PJ, that sounds awful. 600 miles? Jesus, man. I don't know how you do that. Hey, Antonio. I don't, everything hurts on me as well. But for the most part, I just want sleep because the sleep deprivation is killing me. Like right now, I don't know if I'm having hot flashes or if I have that feeling you get when you're not sleeping, like anybody who's a child of the 80s and was like tweaking in the 80s. That's what I feel like. I feel like an 80s tweaker right now from lack of sleep. And I am in bed sleeping. I just keep waking up all the time. So I never get like the whole night's sleep. Anyway. So I'm telling my story. I'm not even looking at you guys right now. So I'm sitting at KMBR. Jerry Rice has just become a Raider. This is what, 2002, 3, 4, was something like that. Early aughts. And we're all waiting because we were KMBR, the sports leader. And we had all the local teams. And we had Ticket 1050, which was, I believe, still broadcasting the Raider games at the time. And so we were waiting for Jerry to call us as soon as he did the TV interview. We had the top priority radio interview. So we're all waiting, and the guys are talking, and we're playing like clips we're all listening to the TV press conference with Jerry, and we're talking about like what to ask him and all this stuff. And all of a sudden we're like, it ends, and Jerry's supposed to call us, but he hasn't called, and we're waiting, and the guys are like stalling, and they're doing something on the air. And finally, we're like way past the window where Jerry Rice was supposed to call in and do his interview with KMBR. And so they like leave me in the room babysitting a huge commercial break, right? They just put on a shit ton of commercials. They did like a commercial breaks back to back, which was like a bunch of commercials so they could all go and like start calling people, trying to figure out what's going on, try and maybe pivot the show to something else, see if it had to get rescheduled and we just don't know it or whatever. And I'm just sitting there in the studio by myself and the phone rings and I'm like, KMBR. Hey, it's Jerry Rice calling in for the interview. Hey, Jerry, how's it going, man? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, busy day for you, huh? So everyone is in the other room. And you know how these studios are all soundproof, right? You can see those doors and those windows. All those doors are hella heavy, right? And this was like, oh, this isn't working. This was in the corded phone days, right? So I'm like this, hey, Jerry. Yeah, man. And I'm trying to be super chill with Jerry on the phone so that he doesn't know that everybody's outside the room trying to figure out what to do about his interview. And I start waving at people because they can't hear me, even if I was all, I couldn't put Jerry on mute and like holler at him. And I'm like leaning over and I got like one leg up. I'm trying to see if I can just barely reach the door handle and like flick the door open just to be all, hey, nope, can't even get that far. I'm waving frantically all the while, just like, oh yeah, busy day for you, huh? Are you going to be calling? Are you in the car? You're going to be on the cell the whole time for the interview? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So how long is the drive going to be? And you're good to go with the drive and the chat. And he's like, yeah, I got a driver. It's fine, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. No, I don't think he had a driver. I think he said he was cool to be driving. Must have been hands-free or something. Anyway, everybody is just like in a literal huddle, heads down, not paying attention while I'm like doing a freaking monkey dance in the studio trying to get their attention while also casually chatting with Jerry Rice. And then finally somebody looked up and I was like, get in here. And then I was like, oh, hey, Jerry, commercials are almost over. We're getting ready to go live. Are you good? I'm going to put you on hold. We'll put you into the board and the guys can hear you. Da, da, da. And that is what radio is all about. And it was so funny. And so I was like, I've talked to Jerry Rice, had a whole convo with the guy, for like several minutes while everybody else was like, well, we got 12 minutes of commercials right now. So we're going to figure this out kind of attitude. And I was just like, but this weekend was the first time I met him in real life. Okay. Now I can go to commercials. I mean, comments. Jesus. Did I mention I'm tired? Still so tired. I thought for sure I took a muscle relaxer last night. I took a Flexerol because, between Aftershock and all the driving and then the game and then Guar, I was in the pit for Guar and stuff. Like I was super achy and tense anyway. So I was like, okay, I'll take the muscle relaxer, help with the tension and hopefully help me sleep through the night. Well, it helped with the tension. Yeah. But I think it just made me more tired. Okay, where were we? So there's my Jerry Rice story. Who did I miss? What about Jake E. Lee? Yeah, I haven't read the story about Jake E. Lee and his dog walking, confronting or catching some potential thieves. I don't know. But yeah, we're lucky he's alive. 15 shots, and they only landed 3, and none of them hit anything vital. Jesus. You just saw LA Guns is playing DNA next month? Is it next month? Is that coming up already? Jesus. Yeah, it's going to be excellent. If I remember correctly, it's in the upstairs, so it's going to be like a tiny show. But yeah, fuck yeah, I'll be there for that. Not missing LA Guns. Let's see. Oh, you don't know what early aughts means? The aughts are what we call the early 1900s, 2000s. It's the early 2000s. It's not the teens, not the 20s, not the 30s. It's the aughts. You did spell it right, though. Wait, what did Eddie say that was funny? You guys, I'm so tired. I forgot to do 420 Floyd today. I mean, it wasn't sponsored, so it wasn't the end of the world, but still, I totally meant to do it and then was like, oh, Dan got you. I see. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that Rice and Lott went to the Raiders just because they stayed in the Bay. Because that used to be a thing. No, Justine, he didn't come in the studio because then I would have met him, right? He was only calling in, but so yeah. So I feel like now that I can put together the phone call with the photo op, I pretty much have hung out with Jerry Rice now. Charlie Garner, he was a good Raider. Yeah. And I already showed you guys my my Tom Brady thing yesterday, right? You don't miss telephone elbow. Hi, Kevin. This comment sponsored by. Is that why my shirt is red? No. Oh, you weren't here, Eddie. You missed the shirt. Hold on. Let me show you just how white my whites can get, because it's kind of impressive. So here's the shirt I wore to Guar after I got Guard, right? I mean, it's crazy, right? And then I got home and I threw it in the wash immediately, and then I wore it yesterday. So anybody who was here yesterday will tell you, or you can watch the live stream from yesterday where I explain the whole thing. White. All of it came out. It's crazy. And I mean, this is right before I hopped in the shower and I'm just like, what the fuck? My face was purple. Hilarious. Oh, Guar. Never a dull moment. Hell yeah, PJ, I'm tired. So tired. I don't know why I'm more interesting when you listen to music, Robert, but that's weird. I mean, I guess it's the equivalent of like syncing Pink Floyd up with The Wizard of Oz. Instead, you're syncing classic music up with me babbling like a crazy person. Hey, Brett. It was a fumble. Yeah. PJ, you dropping off laundry? Not at my place, motherfucker. But you know what? My friend Sip that I went with, he sent me a picture of his shirt the next day, and it was like still fucked. And I don't know if he even tried to wash it. Knowing him, he did not. I think he's just going to keep it that way and be like, now it's a tie-dye shirt. Go fig. Hey, Lance. Aw, thank you. I appreciate being necessary. I appreciate you tapping in, and I'm sorry you tapped in late yesterday, right when I was just tapping out. And even today, man, I had so much to do, and I just didn't get any of it done. I wanted to talk to Gorman, but I'm just too tired to be entertaining. And I wanted to update the concert calendar so that I can program Metal Zone. And dude, I was so tired last weekend that I forgot to program Metal Zone, and then when I did, I accidentally duplicated a song that I played the week before. Like, what the fuck? Fortunately, Shasta caught it and we switched it out, but still, like, the fuck. You've never seen The Wizard of Oz? The fuck? Dude, you should probably just watch The Wizard of Oz. It's an awesome film. Scott, Northern BC. Wow. You have snow and it's melting? I don't understand your season, sir. That is confusing. We don't have anything snow-like. at all. It's like sunny and 75 today, I think. It's not a girls' movie, Justine. It's a family film, you know? But also, I mean, it's a classic, a total classic. And it's a musical, and the songs are catchy. The Princess Bride is better than The Wizard of Oz. I mean, it's not better, but also they're two completely different films that have nothing to do with each other. And one is like a they're both timeless classics, but they're timeless classics from completely different eras. You know, The Wizard of Oz was made in what, like 1920 something, 30, 20, 30. I'm not arguing with your opinion, Dan. I'm just saying you should see The Wizard of Oz. Everyone should see The Wizard of Oz just once. Just make sure you see it. You could hate it and be like, I hate The Wizard of Oz. Go for it. But you should see it. It's pretty good. Also, like, popular culture is so like filled with Wizard of Oz references that you don't get because you haven't seen the film, right? You like the Van Halen song, Rodney? Aw, I'm glad. You know, I liked it. Woo on shrooms. Wait, who's on shrooms, Eddie? What are you talking about? Oh, I'll watch Wizard of Oz. Oh, WOO. I was all woo. What? Yeah. Watch Wizard of Oz on shrooms. I mean, I would watch it sober, but I would also watch it on shrooms. I like both. I mean, I don't think there's a movie I wouldn't watch on shrooms. It depends on the amount of shrooms, I guess. In fact, whenever I have time to do shrooms, which actually is pretty rare these days, but if I do have time to do the shrooms, I will usually like macro dosing. I mean, micro dosing is nothing. If you microdose shrooms, it basically just makes your day a little better. You don't even notice it. But macro dosing shrooms, if I got the time, it's usually like a bathtub situation. And then I bring my laptop in and I just put up like TV shows or movies and I just binge stuff in the bathtub while I'm on shrooms. It's like a fun pastime. Great relaxation exercise. Which obviously I haven't had time to do because I can't relax. No weekends off. Part of me is like, should I skip a Niner game just to take a day? You know, because my house is falling apart and my body's falling apart. But then I'm like, hey Thomas, good to see you too, man. Hey Paul, what's up, brother? Oh yeah, I'm good. Okay. I had a commercial coming up, so I did the commercial ahead of time so I wouldn't have to put you guys on hold for it. Oh, Wonka original? Yeah, see, that's another great film. And I will be honest, I finally did see the new Willy Wonka remake with Timothy Chalamet, and I'm not mad at it. It is a completely different story, which I think was crucial. I think that the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka trying to remake the movie that we all know and love with Gene Wilder, which was perfect as it was. Just there was just no improving on it, and they actually just made it worse, you know. And the way that they CGI'd that one Oompa Loompa guy for everything was, I mean, come on, man, give the Oompa Loompa some individuality. Um, you know, but the Timothy Chalamet one wasn't bad. It was a kids movie. So it wasn't great, but also it wasn't bad. I kind of liked it. I didn't not like it. You know what I mean? It's not like you got to see it because you don't got to see it. Not like it's The Wizard of Oz, but it was okay. I'm not mad at it anymore. Hereditary? Scott, what is Hereditary? Is that a series? Hereditary, don't do that. Let me see. Trust rooftop corners. Why would I trust a rooftop corner to begin with? Hereditary? That's a movie? Is it a movie or a series, dude? Oh, hang on. Boss is texting. Dark Crystal. You know what? I could not get into the new Dark Crystal. And then when I tried to rewatch the old Dark Crystal, it didn't quite hold up. But I do have fond memories of it. Smells like Gelfling. Those Skeksis were scary as shit. Maybe I just need to give it another try. It's a movie called Heretic. Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I don't know that I really get into horror movies in an altered state. I feel like that's just borrowing trouble, you know? Uh-oh. But yeah. The Gene Wilder one was amazing. It's a timeless classic. Yeah, that's a movie you have to see, right? You have to see Wizard of Oz. You have to see Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original. You should. Okay, hold on. Oh shoot. Hold on. Okay. Okay, hang on. I got to do this thing. One more second. Okay, great. And I have already restarted, so cool. Done. I don't have. Okay. Where did we leave off? Oh, right. Dark Crystal on shrooms. Terrifier 3? I don't know. I got to be in the mood for like horror movies that don't have like a real suspense filled plot. Not that I don't love them. I just am not always in the mood for them. Most of the time I need something that's like brain engaging. So I love a whodunit because it keeps my brain occupied with like, wait, was that a red herring? Wait, is that real? Wait, who is that? Kind of thing. Which is bad because my brain, after watching so many episodes of Law and Order throughout my years, is constantly focusing on the formula of the whodunit. And and trying to figure out who did it based on what I think that the formula is. So whenever I get a TV show or a movie that has like a non-formulaic ending, then I'm always like, oh, I think that's why I liked The Glass Onion, even though it was not the greatest film. I didn't guess the ending until the reveal for the most part. Justine, you've never seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Oh, you must. You must. It's about a little boy and it's about a chocolate factory, and I don't want to spoil it for you. But Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, based on the book. And it's about a reclusive, secretive chocolate master who is the biggest chocolatier in the world, and he shut himself up in his factory, and no one saw or heard from him again, except the factory kept making chocolate. And then one day he offered a contest for 5 golden tickets that he hid in chocolate bars around the world, and everyone who got a golden ticket got to come to the chocolate factory to meet him, and mayhem ensues. New movies, Heretic is the movie. Okay, gotcha. You just watched Apartment 7? Oh, okay. On Prime? I could be into that. You know what I started watching was shit. Now I can't remember the name of it. It was that fan movie. I can't remember. It was on Prime and I started watching it and then it kind of like lost me. There's stuff that I have to watch that I haven't watched yet, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. But by the time I get home, make dinner, sit down and eat, I got like 30, 45 minutes before I got to like start trying to like go to sleep. So I can't really watch a whole movie or a long program after work. I obviously don't have time to watch them before work because that's like time for news and online news and other stuff. And then, yeah, so I basically can only watch movies on the weekends. And now my weekends are pretty slammed with like laundry and food prep. And we got the Halloween party this Saturday and we've got the Niner game on Sunday. And at least this time on Sunday after the Niner game, I can just go home and go to bed instead of like going out to see Guar. Not that Guar wasn't awesome, but I was tired. Is that the bone poster behind me? Is it behind me new on top of the L&T with the green lettering? I don't know what you're talking about, Justine. L&T with green lettering? Oh, I don't think there's anything new behind me. The most recent addition to the wall was the Stone Temple Pilots drum head. To answer the question, oh, House of Wax. Yeah, that's a classic, dude. That's a black and white movie, though. I mean, that's a literal classic. Good night, Robert. None of that was weird at all. That should be a label on the back of shrooms, on the shroom pack. Don't watch horror movies. But you could totally watch horror movies on shrooms. I mean, everyone is different, right? I mean, for me, I'm not like bad trip person, but other people are. And some people get hit really hard with shrooms and I don't. I get hit really hard with pot. If I smoke weed, I will get high. If I take a 5 milligram dose, I will be eating candy for hours and I will be completely non-functioning. No, PJ, I'm not telling you, Chasta, you said hello because she is at home. She just texts me to do this one thing every night. And she takes this little moment out of her personal time to do this tiny bit of work. And I would never like make that period of time longer for her than it has to be. But you can tell her hi because you're on her Facebook, right? Like your Facebook friends. You can tell her hi anytime. Gene Wilder when he did the fallen role. Hell yeah, dude. That'd be a great costume. I could do like like someday, right? Because obviously I'm not putting that together between now and Saturday. But that would be cool to have that top hat and the purple coat. Thomas, you heard Sunset Boulevard play in New York is excellent. Oh, the Sunset Boulevard play on Broadway? Ah. I want to see Broadway plays, but New York is so far away. And every time I try to go there, Broadway ticket prices have gotten ridiculous. And it's like $200 for the cheap seats. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. Why are you pricing the common person out of fucking theater? Theaters should be for everybody. Hey, Red. How about Neverending Story? Also a classic. Everyone should watch it. 100%. Oh, I love Clue too. Clue is super fun. I mean, Tim Curry is a legend. Pardon the pun. For anybody who loves legend. God, you guys, I feel like I'm carb crashing, even though I had like a big lunch. And I had like a meat stick. Ugh. I feel like I could fall asleep and that I'm like all like jittery. Hopefully tonight I'll go home, we'll make a nice dinner, go to bed and shake whatever it is with a little extra sleep. Chocolate Master. That's done a lot of LSD. Yeah. Red is right. There's a lot of there's a lot of lysergic acid diethylamide imagery in the film, or stuff that seems like it would be. Sorry, this coffee is my collagen supplement coffee. So I have to drink the whole thing. You was the last thing you binged, PJ? You was good. You like the first 2 seasons were really good. Actually, I liked all the seasons now that I think about it. There was just a lull kind of in their suburban season. The suburban season got a little, I don't know, it was like they lost the formula. And then in the last season of You, when they kind of recreated the formula to be a whodunit, I was like, oh, well, okay. And I wasn't mad at it. A lot of people were mad though, because they like altered the formula. Not me. Oh man, I just realized I've got Show Me the Way and Go Your Own Way back to back. Nobody's going to notice that, right? The 2-way songs back to back. Oh, Young Frankenstein, also a classic. Super classic. Hilarious. Never-ending hilarity. Roll, in the hay. Yeah, that movie's fucking hilarious. You're going to dress as one of your students for Halloween. Have a Zia. What's a Zia? You're dressing as one of your students? That sounds like a little questionable. What's going on with that? I mean, the kid's okay with you doing it? I feel like I don't know. I feel like children might be sensitive to the teacher dressing up like them, unless it was a purely flattering depiction. Best devil ever? Oh, legend? Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Zoa. I don't know what that means either, actually. Zoa? Thanks, Edwin. Appreciate it. I mean, I'd be drinking people's blood if I thought it would help, but our tax. Oh, I know, dude. That was rough, but for my generation, we grew up on Bambi. So our tack was like, don't get me wrong, we still cried our eyes out, but we were like, this is what happens. Dwayne Johnson's energy drink. Oh, I don't do energy drinks. They'll kill you. There's all kinds of weird chemicals. They're ultra processed. It's just not good for you. Coffee, on the other hand, has a plethora of studies for its benefits. Ta-da! Yeah, it's a 2-mug day. Flashback on movies. PJ, I can already see if you're outside my office window because I'm looking out the windows right now, dude. And you're not there. But also, what? We're on the second floor, so you actually can't see in to our windows. But thanks for creeping me out, bro. Also, you can see me. We're right here. I'm on the internet for you. It's live. You're already watching me. Just don't do any creepy, like, zooming in thing. People need to stop zooming in on stuff. I can't be paying so much attention to my background so that people can't zoom in and go like, what's that? I don't know. The Phantom Toll Booth. Dan, can we move on? Oh God. I think I remember the Phantom Toll Booth, but honestly not much. Not to the point where I could remember anything about it. Like the name is familiar to me, but that's it. Dr. Sleep. That was the Shining one that had the real Shining ending, right? With Ewan McGregor. Is that the Dr. Sleep one that you're talking about? Because spoiler alert for The Shining, the book ends very differently than the movie does. So I read the book of The Shining before I saw it. And okay, sorry, I need to make sure someone's okay. I read the book of The Shining before I saw the movie, like years before I saw the movie. And then I saw the movie and I was like, the fuck is this? Which is not the reaction most people have when they see The Shining, because it is a great film. Stanley Kubrick really did a bang up job on it. And, you know, Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson killed it. But if you read the book, you were like, what the fuck is going on here? And if you just saw the movie, then you were like, this is cinematic excellence. And so I'm weird like that. I actually have stopped reading Stephen King books before the movies come out. So now I'm like, you know, because like I read The Stand before the series, and I couldn't even finish watching the series. I was like, not the first series, actually. I take that back. I didn't watch the first series of The Stand because it was on like television, like regular TV. So I knew that it was going to be like already garbage, but I heard it was good, which surprised me. And then, but then also it was a real-time TV thing, you know? And I think at the time that it was a real-time TV thing, I had a super active social life and I was not going to be at home begging my parents to let me use the TV for, you know, Stephen King's The Stand. Because we only had one TV back then and it was a thing. At any rate, oh, I already drank that one. I did try to start watching the new Stand. And I think I got like 2 episodes in before I was like, because I had read the book and I was like, well, never mind. And I'm going to actually go out on a limb here and be like, Stephen King's The Stand, not one of his better books. He wrote a lot in that book that was pretty mediocre. But his narration is really good. So I think that's why I kept going with it, because it was a really long book. Also, it was the pandemic and I was listening to it while I was doing yard work. God, my yard work is a shit show. My sister, love her, came over and like leaf blowed and swept my yard to the point where I still have piles that I can't fit in. The green bin is stacked all the way to the top. And then I've got a couple other like barrel bins that are stacked all the way to the top. Plus I have piles that I still have to shovel into other barrel bins to wait for the green bin to get emptied on Thursday. But yeah, I have not had time to do any yard work. So I was like, thank you. The Shining Part 2, or The Shinning, as Willie, groundskeeper Willie says in the Simpsons Halloween episode. You got the shinning, son. Don't you mean The Shining? Shut up. Do you want us to get sued? Hoodie, flannel pants, earbuds, talkies. Okay, so you're going as any student, not a specific student, because that's every student ever. And oh my God, the talkies, I don't get it. But I guess kids will eat anything. Play Alice in Chains, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. Yeah, sorry, Jim. Definitely not in our playlist parameters right there. Don't get me wrong, I love Alice in Chains, but that's not even a single, dude. That's not how radio works. Radio is not deep tracks. Deep tracks are by the album. Radio is singles. Radio is like a giant advertisement for the album. That's why we only play like 1 or 2 songs from the album. And then if an album is huge and sells a gajillion copies, then we'll play maybe 4 or 5 songs from the album on radio in order to keep selling copies of the album, because that's how singles work. That's why you hear when the band puts out a single, they're putting out a single to radio in order to hopefully sell the album. Hep Rioter. Do you have a real name? And no, I'm not Jewish. I have gotten that before. David Tell. I was just telling somebody this story. We had like a New Year's Eve show at the Masonic, bunch of comedians. It was like Amy Schumer and Anthony Jeselnik. In fact, Anthony Jeselnik was headlining over Amy Schumer, and David Tell was there hosting, and I was hosting, and God, who else was there? There were a couple more comedians. It was a big comedy night at the Masonic, and it was like the Bones New Year's Eve party. And I'm hanging out in the green room with the comedians, and I had worked with David Tell before at the Warfield. So we kind of like, we didn't know each other, but we weren't like weirded out around each other or anything, you know? So I started talking to him, and he's like, so are you in the tribe? And I was like, yeah, Cherokee. And he's like, the fuck? He goes, no, the tribe of Israel. And I was like, well, you could see my confusion. Because I have a little bit of Indian tribe, little Cherokee tribe, little Native American tribe in me, but not the tribe of Israel. I didn't know that was considered tribal. But it is, and it very much is culturally. And I had no idea, because not Jewish. But it was hilarious that but I have that look, apparently, because more than one person has said that, and everybody thought it was hilarious that I did not know that are you in the tribe was a way that like Jews ask other Jews if they're Jews. I loved that the Nobody Wants This on Netflix. Super cute rom-com series. Some friends of mine I was visiting, and they started watching it before I got there. So they were on like episode 2 or 3. And then I started watching it with them, and we binged like a couple episodes, and then they went to bed, and I binged the whole rest of it, and then started from the beginning and binged the episodes I hadn't seen yet. So I watched basically that whole TV show in a day, and I am basically the Kristen Bell character. Like, I did not grow up with Jewish friends. There's not a lot of Judaism in my life. I have friends who are Jewish. I've been to Jewish weddings. I did have friends invite me to a dinner once that were Jewish, but they didn't do the Jewish traditions on the dinner. Like, we had paella, you know what I'm saying? So maybe it's because all the Jews I know are hippies that they like the cultural bit has just not really permeated my idiom. But I do love a matzo ball soup. I relate to everything in terms of food. It seems like an odd question, but apparently it's totally normal, like in New York and LA. And a lot of people, I have an ethnically ambiguous look, right? I don't know if I told you guys this before, but one time when I was doing a broadcast at Disneyland, oh God, I miss the Disney broadcast so much. Oh, Disney used to fly me down and put me on Main Street in a booth to do my show live from Main Street Disneyland. And then we would get like park hopper passes and stay at a Disneyland hotel. And it was just like fucking Cinderella, and I loved it, but they don't do that anymore, sad face. At least they don't do it with us. So whatever. It's like Disney broke up with us or something. I don't know. Anyhow, so Disney would send a car to pick me up at the airport. And so I'm walking to the car with the driver, and the driver starts speaking to me in Russian. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he said it again in Russian. And I was like, what are you, why would I know what are you, I'm confused. And he goes, your parents didn't speak Russian to you growing up? And I was like, why would they? My mom is from Cleveland. My dad is from Mississippi. No. And he's like, you're not Russian? And I was like, I'm not even at all Russian, like not even a little bit. But at one point, my mom pulled up some random picture of some girl from Russia. I swear, I think it was like an actual mail order bride, and bitch looked exactly like me in high school. And so I can see where people get it from. People have thought I was Greek, Italian, Jewish, Russian, lots of things. But I'm not. I think I've busted out the DNA before on the live stream. Let's see if it's handy. Is this mine? Oh, no, that's not mine. Let me see if I can find it quick. Otherwise, no. Yeah, I'm the one who got everybody DNA test for Christmas because I thought it would be cool. Okay. So I have 31% England and Northwestern Europe, which tracks. 28% Scotland, which is what I've always known. 25% Germanic Europe, which is the Kratzers from Indiana that I mentioned earlier. 8% Wales. My brother has a slightly higher Welsh percentage, and he's like red hair, blue eyes, freckles, pale skin, high risk cancer, high risk skin cancer group. Doesn't look anything like me, but we have the same parents. He just got more of the Welsh than I did. 5% French, which sounds a little sketch because we have not come across any French ancestors, but with so many English, a 5% French is like, it's probably somewhere close by. And then it says 2% Sweden, which I think is going to have to be inaccurate slightly because we know for a fact we have a Dutch ancestor. His name was like Alexander, which is why it sticks out because it's hilarious. In like the 1700s, bro was named Alexander. Like the Alexander family in the 16 or 1700s or whatever it was thought it was hilarious to name their firstborn Alexander, knowing that their last name was Alexander. And I find that hilarious. At any point, he's not Swedish, he's Dutch. It's possible because the region is so close together that maybe the DNA was like so similar and that they don't have enough of a sample set for it to be more accurate, or that the DNA is like a mishmash and that's where it got identified with. And then it says 1% Central and Eastern Europe, which I believe is, again, we have like a confirmed ancestor from that's Bohemian. And we have it because of the immigration records. And I think that's Czech now. But this is saying 1% on that. So the DNA, in theory, is not what you're seeing here. In theory, what you're seeing here is English, Scottish, and German, because that's like the top. So go figure. Young Frankenstein inspired an Aerosmith song that's on YouTube. Okay. Wouldn't surprise me. We've kind of moved away from doing the song facts. I don't know if you noticed. But on the air, I know some people still like the song facts or the history of a song, but it just got to a point where I felt like we'd done it so much, you know, that we took a break from it. Stephen King didn't like the movie? Ooh. Well, I know Shelley Duvall did not like the way that she was treated on the movie. I can't believe how horrible they were. Drake! What is up? I can find the original witch on YouTube. Oh, are you still talking? Are you and Dan talking about Phantom Toll Booth? That one? Yeah, you know what? If I wasn't so tired, I would probably make a note to try and like watch it, but I ain't got time. But I do like classics, and if I ever get bored, I will like flip over to like Turner Classic Movies and see what's on there. Jason, you thought Children of the Corn was scary? Yeah, it was. Those kids were fucking creepy. Treehouse of Horror. Uses the toaster to go back in time. Yeah, and then he stomps on everything. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, Justine, you like the Frampton Fleetwood back to back? Thank you. What is my one go-to movie, Rodney? I don't think I have one. Actually. Oh, David Tell's Insomniac. That was killer. He has one of the great posters from his Warfield shows with that poster artist that does the collage art. Very cool. From David Tell. Let's see. Mine Alien. Doesn't ring a bell. Well, see, that's the thing, Justine. Apparently, the Native American is possibly what everybody is seeing here that is being mistaken for Russian but it could be the Bohemian. Because the Cherokee does not show up on the DNA, but what my cousin, who I actually have a cousin who works in DNA bioscience, she says that there's not enough Native American DNA sampling in the pool for them to sort out the tribes because the Cherokee, the Trail of Tears, diluted everywhere. They haven't isolated it. Or what they have isolated is kind of sketch because it's mixed with other tribes and I don't know. I mean, apparently they've decided I'm part of early Alabama settlers and that kind of tracks with the one ancestor that we know that we have that we've confirmed. Because my other cousin went to Harvard Medical School, like literally on a Native American scholarship. And they traced the lineage and showed the ancestor. And it's creepy because she's listed on one census as like property, and she's listed on a later sentence as wife. And it's like, wow, we were a fucked up nation back then. I forgot what I was looking up. What am I looking up? Jack Blakk is Jewish. Yes, I do believe he is. Your therapist is Jewish and she knew Jack Blakk. Oh. Amy Schumer was fucking awesome. She was joking to me about how Anthony Jeselnik was her ex-boyfriend, and this is before she blew up. And I think it's hilarious that he was opening for her, and now she's just like, and how she brought David Tell with her every step of the way. Do you notice that? Everything Amy does, she puts David Tell in and a bunch of other comedian friends, and Anthony Jeselnik is not one of them. I think that's hilarious. Oh, Jack Blakk went to temple with your therapist? That's random. Your real name is Heinrich. Hep Heinrich. I should do a DNA test. I did do a DNA test. Yeah, that's my DNA. At least that's the ancestry version of my DNA. Like I said, the DNA science is still it's not like it's ever changing. It's just that the sample sets are changing. Hey, Jacob. So the it's hard to explain, but every time there's an update, my main ethnicities don't change. The only thing that changes is the minor ones. And the minor ones are ironically the ones that we have documentation for. So yeah, because I think we've got my family back on both sides to the 1600s in some areas. I mean, not every fucking body, but a lot of them. And it helps because Ancestry, the free version, lets you go all the way back to everyone who was in America. You have to pay to get the DNA or census information for people who weren't in the US. But my family on both sides has been here for so long that we're pre-Revolutionary War that we got a lot of results. Hey, Mike. No ambiguity. I look Jewish. Oh. I have done the DNA testing. Yeah, and I'm definitely not Jewish. I am like not even a teeny tiny bit Jewish at all ever. There is no one that might have even been Jewish. Except the maybe a Bohemian, which would be let's see. So it was on my mom's side, and then it was like my grandmother's grandmother's grandfather who came over from what I guess would be like the Czech area, Bohemia. There's not a lot of information about him, so it's possible that he was Jewish, but nothing's shown up in my DNA at all. And you saw it was like 2% Czech, or not Czech, Eastern Europe, right? Where'd it go? Prove it. I have proved it. I have a beautiful accent. I ain't from Canada. Bro, I'm from the Bay. Born and raised. I mean, I mean, even the like the German Jews, like my family was out of Germany before that. So I don't think there would have even been like and I don't know what the whole diaspora thing pre-World War II would have been like, but like I said, my Germanic family were like Mennonites. And was it Mennonites? I think it was the Mennonites. And then I think everybody else was like Presbyterian or Protestant from the English Northern Europe area. And then, like I said, yeah, it says 2% Sweden, 1% Central Eastern Europe. And I'm sure that 1% has got to be the Bohemian. And then, like I said, the 2% Swedish has to be the Dutch guy, Alexander. And then the 5% French, I don't know, 8% Welsh, 25% Germanic, 28% Scottish, 30% England and Northwestern Europe. I'm basically a UK baby. You know, that's like 30, 60, 70, 85, 90. I'm basically 90% UK. And then 10% like all the free movies on YouTube now. I didn't realize, but I also have like a really high cable package, so I get a lot of stuff that way. When you're under 10, watching everything is scary. In fact, I saw the Wax Museum, the Vincent Price movie, the Wax Museum, when I was very little, and I still remember a lot of it pretty vividly because I was little and I was super scared. It's not like if you watch it now, it's not a super scary movie. Oh, you know what I did find out though? Oh, and I got to tap out here in about 5 minutes. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is essentially a complete ripoff from an old black and white movie called This Old House. So, and I'm sure This Old House is like on YouTube or free or whatever. So if anybody was ever like part of Rocky Horror like I was, or was a big fan of the Rocky Horror Picture Show like I was, like Google This Old House and just either watch it or just breeze through it just to see, because it's so clearly ripped off. Like oh my God, the Rocky Horror Picture Show just like completely rips it off. Like the people who broke down in the rain and showed up at the castle, and the creepy butler who's like banging the maid, and the scary old person that lives there. And like, it's like the dinner scene. It's like, there's so many elements that are just like directly lifted from that movie. I'm like, oh, Richard O'Brien, how dare you, sir? Okay, I'm gonna try and breeze through comments and answer everybody so I can tap out. You know what, Mike? I haven't seen Ozzy yet at the Rock Hall because I haven't had time to watch it, but I've heard. Way off the best burger, your best choice? What? What do you mean, Rod? I don't know what you mean, Rodney, by best burger. I don't do fast food at all. So I went to a bar called Absinthe on Friday with a friend who was out of town and a friend who lives in town. A friend from out of town and a friend from in town, and I went to Absinthe, and we had a pretty amazing burger in Hayes Valley here in San Francisco on Friday night. But it was a fucking $30 burger, but it was good. It was like truffle cheese, and it was all hella stacked, and it was like super good beef. John, I look like a Tartarian princess. I don't know what that means. How did we get to Fairfield? Oh, I was born and raised in Fairfield too, Brian. It's just that we got there because my dad was stationed at Travis. My dad got stationed at Travis in 1970, and then I was born in 72, and my dad got cancer and was medically discharged from the Air Force in 75, right after my brother was born. And then we just stayed there. And then my dad moved to Napa when he and my mom got divorced. And my grandparents had moved to Napa, actually, when my dad was stationed at Travis. Because my granddad was in the service, was in the Air Force as well, and he retired. And when he retired, they retired to Napa, I'm assuming to be close to us. They've since passed, but they moved to Alabama, like when I was in my 20s, because they were the original, it's too damn expensive here, we're moving to Alabama. And then they moved to Alabama, and my granddad was dead like within a year. And my Granny Mac was like, get me the fuck out of here. And I flew out to, she went to go visit her sister, my aunt, in Louisiana. And my dad flew me out to Louisiana to drive her home to Napa because she was like, fuck this place. Like, she had fond memories of growing up in Alabama, but once she moved back there, and this is in the fucking 90s, dude. And she was living in Orange Beach, Alabama. So she's living on the Redneck Riviera. And she still was just like, yeah, get me the fuck out of here. So I don't even know what it's like now. Hey, Tony, my family may have been here for centuries, but I'm still a tourist in San Francisco. I don't know about that. I mean, I work here like every day and have for like decades. So I'm not exactly a tourist, but I'm not a local, and I don't pretend to be a native. Okay. I don't think it's This Old House on PBS. It's a black and white movie called This Old House. It's a very old film. I'm sure it's free someplace because it's so old. Oh, PJ, you finally got home? Yeah. I will be sleeping for everyone, hopefully. Let's see. Eric, you saw The Exorcist on TV when you were 10? Oh my God. I can't even imagine how they would. Yeah, they had to have edited the shit out of that. I saw the director's cut release in theaters. I actually hadn't seen it until then. I'd only heard about it. Yeah, not the TV show, Dan. Jesus. PJ, you were late. Brian came in, tapped in super early. Oh yeah. Treasure Island is really nice now. They're really like doing it up over there. If you haven't been over there lately, there's some nice bars and stuff. But I have got to get back on the radio. It was awesome to take this break with you guys. Sorry, I turned up late. Like I said, I'm fucking still exhausted. I don't know what's going on, but my focus is just hopefully in January I'll start figuring it out. And in the meantime, I'll try and tap in for like an hour a day to check out, see what's going on with you guys and tell you some stories and hang out. Fuck yeah, Poltergeist was scary. Poltergeist was the shit, though, right? My whole generation was like scarred by Poltergeist. I'm pretty sure Poltergeist is the whole reason that so many people are afraid of clowns. I'm not afraid of clowns. Although Tim Curry in It, that was scary. And I remember It when it was on TV was like, kids today don't know the struggle with your ability to binge shit, dude. When a miniseries was on TV, you had to be home every night to watch it. And then if you missed a night, you were fucked. So that's what happened to me with the original It. I didn't get to watch it. Tartarian is an older civilization in the US. Yeah, no, that's definitely not me. I mean, my family definitely got here in the pre-revolutionary 1700s. I mean, we've got like records and stuff. All right, guys. I will see you hopefully tomorrow. And hopefully everybody will get some goddamn sleep around here. And I can be a little more on top of it. Cheers.